So Stacy, my wife's been on me about her garden here. She's been complaining to me about these leftover weeds and everything that she didn't kill in the garden last year. You ever had this problem before? Well, I'm going to show you today how I solved this problem right quick so I can get on with other chores around my homestead. Don't try this at home, and if you do, be careful. My whole garden's on fire. So if you guys have been following along with the channel, last year I wasn't able to help Stacy out much with the garden. I was down there building Mom's place, and I broke my ribs, which set me back real bad, especially during the heat of the summer when, you know, you gotta really maintain the garden pretty good. A lot of the weeds start popping up, and Stacy just kind of gave up because she was tending to me and tending to the homestead, and we already had our food going, so we were able to harvest as much as we could, and it was fine harvest. And we put everything down in the root cellar, but it left us with this kind of mess here, okay? And this is one solution to clean that mess up. Let me explain why. Just like with any plant, a weed wants to survive. So what it does is it produces a lot of seeds. And if you just let the seeds go, you know, the weeds go to seed, you'll have weeds full of seeds, and if you go in there and try to whack them down with a machete or run them over with a lawnmower or any kind of thing that shakes them up, all you do is put all those seeds on the ground, and now you've turned one battle into a million battles. So one remedy to that is if you just burn it, right? It's an old farmer trick. You come out here in the early spring before everything starts waking up, and then you just kind of burn it up. So that was my approach to this, because the area just needed too much maintenance, and this would be the fastest course of action. And with spring coming on, we're going to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour really fast. And not to mention, I'm feeling really good now. My hand's a little bit better, and I'm in the wood lot more, and I'm outside more, so I just got to stay busy. Don't you guys like to stay busy? But you have to keep a good eye on this now. I got a good bucket of water with me, and you know, just kind of watching it as it goes. And it's okay if your beds kind of get charred a little bit, you know, your raised beds. It's actually a Japanese wood preservation technique, although this is a little raw. Meaning there's a couple of more steps, you know, that you would take, but it's fine for out here in the garden. So basically I'm just watching this thing burn through. I'm gonna get it all cleaned up. Stacy's not here today, so while she's gone, I'm burning her garden down to the ground. But she'll be happy for it. So we're gonna watch how this goes for a little bit. Always looks a lot worse than it is. Now my weapon of choice out here in the garden to kill all these weeds is the weed dragon. You can get it online. I don't have a fancy link for you or nothing, but that's what it's called, the weed dragon. They're good for around the farm, and they're good for you know, killing off the weeds, especially like on your driveway, sidewalk, stuff like that, because heat is what kills it, right? Not only does it kill the seed, but if you put any heat on any part of this tube of your plant, it changes the dynamics of it, right? The structure, the makeup of it, and then it can't produce anymore, right? You've burned it all up, so it can't function properly, right? If that makes sense. So if you just hit it on any plant too, down at the bottom, can't stand a chance, because it just messes it all up. working really good. I couldn't even walk through this area before. Now I'm free to be me. And one thing I'll tell you guys too is that, you know, fires are actually good. It's good for your garden. It's good for the ground. It's good for the soil. It's what happens out in nature. Lightning strikes and then the fire happens and all the ash that's left behind. That's all good fertilizer and stuff. pH balancers and love for your soil. So that's why it's a good tried and true method, you know. And if you were going to spread those seeds all over, I'm just teasing you. But if you wanted to come out manually, just pluck all that stuff out of the ground, you know, you got to wait a little longer too because the ground's still frozen. That was one of the things Stacy was saying. She wanted to get out here and kind of start getting organized, but she just couldn't because it was just so crowded and cluttered with all the stuff you couldn't walk around. And, you know, and then when you do, you're knocking the seeds around. So it'll be a nice surprise for her when she comes home. Cleaned it up pretty good. Most of the fire's burning out. I got a little spot over here working on this little sunflower that was on the used as a trellis in our tomato area, but it's about to go down. Well, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this small tip. Hope you guys are out in the garden and getting ready for spring, but you know, don't get too anxious now. It's not about what's going on in the air. It's about the ground temperature, right? You can't go running around sticking stuff in the ground just because you're out sweating, because the ground still has to warm up. You know, it has to get to a certain temperature. Stacy kind of talked about that too when you guys are transplanting your sweet potato slips. Go back and watch that last video about food for life. You know, if you get a couple sweet potatoes right now, you'll never have to buy them again. You'll have food for life, and she shows you the trick on how you can do that. So, and get ready for a bunch of garden videos and stuff going on around here, because spring and summer, I'll have the woodlot going. I know you guys don't like those videos that much, but I'm excited about it, so I'm going to show them to you. I really enjoy using that log splitter and everything. Plus, we have the sawmill to put together. And if you stick around here long enough, maybe this summer I'm going to build a log cabin and offer it up for you guys here on the channel. Just like our log cabin, nothing like Mom's. Just a very simple, basic box, you know, of logs. And then you guys can put the rest on. But I might try to turn out 1 or 2 of those a year for you guys, just because I love living in mine. And it offers a great value, you know, as far as living conditions. And I think it would just be cool if, you know, I get a couple of these out there all over the country, and one day I die and somebody's living in couple log homes that I built right here on the property. I'm getting all sentimental and stuff. All right, as always, thanks a lot for coming by the homestead. Hope you appreciated this little tip. You can do this on any garden, any size. A lot of guys do it on their fence rows. You know, if you do it on your fence row, just make sure if you're using wood posts every 5 posts, make sure you watch those wood posts. You don't want them catching on fire on you. But it's just another tried true way to get rid of weeds and nuisance plants. Burn them down. All right, hit that thumbs up on the way out. Make sure you are subscribed, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Did you guys know that in the 16, 17, and 1800s, chocolate was consumed as a beverage? There was no such thing as a chocolate candy bar. Well, we're bringing chocolate tea back to the 21st century because it's loaded with antioxidants our body loves, and it's a great source of magnesium that's wonderful for bone and heart health. It's a great addition to your coffee machine or your French press, or just along with your favorite sweetener. You can find it on offgridwithdougandstacy.com, along with our brand new tea infuser, simple to use for easy steeping. Cheers!